not wanting Charlie's caricature to survive when the actual Charlie Kirk individual, who Charlie Kirk actually is so much more important. The caricature, the cartoon, is that Charlie's this young, smart guy, made a career out of debating college kids. There is no way we are going to this event now. There's a 0% chance. First and foremost, why are you saying invite? Anybody can go to it. You just buy a ticket to the event, and you're all working to try to get me to confirm that I'm going. And you're doing this as if you're trying to like push my buttons and be like, we got to make her get into her ego so she like shows up and like posts it on social media. Nope, actually, you know, while I'm attacking the feds, maybe not going to a public event, which the feds are organizing, is probably a very good idea. I'm good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna listen to Power on my headphones and go see Ye. How's that for a memorial for Charlie Kirk? That feels like the right thing for me to do right now.
Looks like Candace Owens might not be so far off after all, because Jaguar Wright just dropped a bomb that lines up with everything Candace has been screaming about Charlie Kirk's mysterious passing. Candace has been pushing the idea that Charlie didn't just die randomly, he was silenced. And now Jaguar is saying the same thing loud and clear. Jaguar isn't the type to sugarcoat anything, and from the way she's talking, she's about to start naming names tied to Charlie's death.
What they have told us about Lance Twiggs. Obviously, we're going to go over this indictment. This kind of came up in the umpteenth hour. I'm going to tell you my honest opinion on it. There's more going on here. Very clearly, there's more going on here. So you can join us here at the link.
So Charlie Kirk's death has turned into a full-blown war at this point. And the one person the world thought would be the most broke by it, is his wife, is now being considered a suspect. They're saying
that's wild, because anyone who knows Jaguar knows she might clown around, but she's not out here spinning lies. When it comes to Charlie, she's been blunt about the cover-up, and her words got people watching real close. Meanwhile, Candace Owens has been demanding answers from the start, calling out the feds and accusing them of hiding the truth. She was one of the first to raise alarms when the FBI suddenly took over the case from local police. And that's when things started looking even more suspicious. The FBI's official line was, as soon as we heard about the shooting, special agents and personnel from the Salt Lake City field office responded immediately. We have full resources devoted to this investigation, including tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside our partners. Sounds polished on paper, but to Candace and Jaguar, that official talk smells like they're trying to bury what really happened. Back then, most folks treated it like business as usual. Charlie was a public name with deep ties to powerful people, so the feds stepping in didn't raise eyebrows at first. But when Candace started raising red flags non-stop, fans thought she was overreacting and chasing clout. She fired off tweets saying the feds rushed in and took control from local cops, and argued if they actually wanted to catch Charlie's killer, they would have dropped every pic and clip instantly so the internet could help solve it in minutes. She claims the will to solve it just wasn't there, and even accused the feds of hiding a bigger hookup, insisting more people were involved, and the public deserves to know who.
It's clear we're not getting all the information. It's clear something's off here. The first person, the old man, I don't even know why he was grabbed, but he was grabbed and his picture was fundled out. And then there was someone else who was a person of interest, and that didn't work. And then we got this guy. He had a bulletproof vest that might have caught the exit, really? That's interesting. That's definitely an interesting point of view. But what kind of bulletproof vest are you talking about? Because usually bulletproof vests, they cover your front, they cover your back. There's points of vulnerability on the sides usually. I haven't seen too many. I mean, was he wearing like hardcore Kevlar? Like fully body casted? That's wild. Nobody mentioned that yet. Military grade. He was wearing military grade. I don't know. It's funny. Seems like they might have mentioned that.
Candace also warned about violent acts tied to private online chats, saying underground groups are popping up and we need to know who's directing them. She amplified a media host post and retweeted the line, "I guarantee the FBI was in that Discord server, and that's why we won't get it before it's been scrubbed." That stirred even more suspicion and made people wonder if evidence was being cleared. Sure, critics labeled her an attention seeker, clout chaser, and conspiracy theorist because her claims sound extreme to some. But critics can't shake the fact that Charlie was close to the president, and there are rumors about ties between top officials and the FBI director. So people ask, why would anyone botch this probe on purpose? The whole situation smells messy, and folks are split. But the noise sure won't die down anytime soon. Well, Candace says this all points to a power play behind the scenes. Something big pulling strings and turning up the heat on Charlie. I'm not claiming it's gospel or saying it's fake. I'm just passing on what she and others are shouting about so you decide for yourself. Candace says that just weeks before Charlie died, he got into beef with some billionaire players who supposedly threatened him over money and opinions. She claims Charlie was squaring off with powerful donors he once took cash from, and that pressure got real heavy on him fast. Messages and receipts, she says, will drop in the next 2 weeks, and when they do, the movement he built could blow back up on everyone involved. She even shared a post that warned Charlie was about to lose his last major backer because he refused to ban Tucker Carlson from events. That tweet lit up the timelines and made people point fingers. Lots of folks are acting shocked now, but Candace wants the billionaires exposed and called out for what she calls shady behavior. But she didn't stop there. She kept accusing the feds of sketchy moves too. Reports say the FBI hasn't ruled out that other people may have helped radicalize or assist Charlie Kirk's alleged attacker. And sources say agents are digging through chat logs, dark web activity, and the suspect's links. An FBI rep said they're focused on radicalization and promised the truth won't be hidden and that no stone will be left unturned. The public deserves answers and accountability. This story's raw and messy, and people are split between believing leaks and writing it off as drama. Either way, the next few weeks could change the whole narrative, and folks are bracing for receipts and fallout. She wasn't having that, and she fired back hard, saying straight up they're lying and trying to cook up another weak narrative before her show, and she'll shred that one too.
Even get into the whole thing with the GUN being dismantled, the guy jumping off of the roof without the, weapon. This whole thing looks fishy. And that's why I said, I always say this. I say, I'd rather get all the information first, then make a comment. But yeah, it's just real fishy. Of course. They say,
We have a right to question the validity of it. And it's got to pass the smell test. There's something wrong with all of this. And everyone is starting to pick it out piece by piece, thread by thread. Everyone is starting to see something's wrong here. The question is, why?
It looks like she thinks the FBI might be in cahoots with the billionaires who allegedly took Charlie out, and by speaking up, she's put a huge target on her back. Fans were shook when she skipped Charlie's memorial a few days ago, but it got even darker when she said the reason she didn't go was that she feared for her life right then. To her credit, people started believing her fast because the official story didn't add up and the gaps were glaring. Think about the odd pieces of the puzzle. The suspect's grandmother insisted he'd never even handled a gun and had no reason to kill Charlie. She laid out family politics too. My son, his dad is a Republican for Trump. Most of my family members are Republicans. I don't know any single one who's a Democrat. That line sent more people into full-on suspicion mode. The grandma kept saying she just couldn't picture him doing something like that. I'm just so confused. I don't think he ever To tell you the truth, he doesn't hunt. He's never liked anything like that. I know he doesn't own any. There's just no way he could have been that good of a... There's no way he could be violent. There's absolutely no way that he did that. I've watched that child grow up, and I can't imagine that it would ever be him. Those words landed heavy and left the rumor mill burning hotter than ever. And that's where the story takes a sharp twist. Because after the grandma's statement, people started digging into the suspect's background and the timeline started looking even stranger. Reports say the suspect didn't have any military training, no history of violence, not even a hunting license. So how was he suddenly skilled enough to pull off something this precise? Fans are saying the whole setup reeks of someone else pulling strings behind the curtain. Candace ran with that angle too, suggesting that maybe the suspect was just a pawn in a much bigger game. She even hinted that evidence might have been planted, saying the story felt way too clean on paper, but sloppy when you look closer. And of course, she pointed back to those billionaire names, asking why the narrative keeps steering away from their involvement every single time. Now here's the kicker. Leaked chatter online claims that days before Charlie's death, the suspect was spotted meeting people he had no business knowing, people tied to money and politics. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but once that detail hit social media, it only fueled the fire. People started calling it the setup of the decade, while others said it proves Candace isn't just ranting, she's connecting dots the media won't touch. Meanwhile, insiders whisper that federal agents are quietly watching Candace too, tracking her moves and her sources. She claims she's not scared, but the fact she skipped the memorial and openly said she fears for her safety shows this saga is way bigger than anyone thought. And the scariest part, if even half of what she's saying is true, the truth about Charlie's passing could shake up names way higher than anyone dared to imagine. They swore up and down it wasn't just family bias. The grandma sounded sincere when she said, "I know him," and people listened. But the real red flag was the batch of texts the feds leaked. They were supposedly between Tyler and his roommate. Yet they looked clearly fake and way too tidy, like someone wrote a confession for them to find. That setup had folks yelling foul play all over social media. The messages supposedly had him confessing to killing Charlie, engraving bullets, and even naming the exact spot he ditched the weapon. Everything the feds needed to pin him down, but the receipts didn't add up and the math felt forced. So a lot of people refused to buy the official script. That's when doubts started turning into a proper outcry. Enter Jaguar Wright, and she didn't come light. On her podcast, she backed Candace hard, saying the feds are hiding way more than the integrity of the probe would require. She thinks they're protecting powerful people who might have had a hand in Charlie's passing. Jaguar brought receipts, rumors, and questions onto the table, and the room got heated fast. She even had a guest who dropped surprising details that made listeners lean in and demand answers. If the feds are shielding billionaires like Candace and Jaguar claim, then we're not just talking a sloppy investigation. We're talking cover-up level chaos. That's heavy. So I gotta ask you, what's your take? Is this a real conspiracy that's being buried, or are Candace and Jaguar hyping it up too much? Sound off below, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breakdowns and receipts. You don't want to miss the next update.